Hello and welcome to today's edition of Your Questions Answered with Father Gruner. I'm John Veneri. We take your questions that you send us via email. Father Gruner answers them, we talk about them, and continue to send them to us. questions@thefatimacenter.com. We have a question about Our Lady today. The person writes, did the Blessed Virgin die a natural death, or did she ascend into heaven while still alive? And she says, no one has ever taught me this, and that's why I'm asking.
Well, the answer to both questions is she died a natural death, and she ascended to heaven while she was still alive. It's understood that, first of all, the definition of the Assumption by Pope Pius XII in 1950 leaves the question of whether she died or she just, at the end of her life, went to heaven without dying. It leaves the question open. That is, you can believe whether that she died or she didn't die because it's not been defined. However, there's certainly a long tradition in the Church that holds that she did die. Now, the difficulty with her dying is that she is conceived without original sin, and we only have death because of original sin, and out of sin. We don't have death. Death is not.
It's a punishment.
It's a punishment.
Yes.
So since Our Lady committed no sins at all, since she was conceived without a sin, why should she die? Well, exactly, that would be a perfectly legitimate question. The answer, of course, is that in imitation of her son, her son also was without sin of any kind, and yet he died, as in expiation for. So Our Lady, in imitating her son in everything, would also imitate him in his death. Not in how she died, but the fact that she died. So now, but if someone claims that Our Lady did not die, you can't say they're not Catholic because they believe that. And if someone says that she did die, you can't say they're not Catholic, since it's not been, the magisterium has left that question open to be further discussion. So, and Pius XII, in his definition, makes it very clear he's not answering that question at all. But I think we can certainly affirm that when she did ascend into heaven, she was alive. She was risen from the dead. So if she died, then she rose from the dead before she was taken up into heaven.
And I think you were saying before the program, too, that this is, what you're saying here is also the position of St. Alphonsus Liguori.
St. Alphonsus Liguori, certainly, and if you get our Rosary booklet, in which we quote St. Alphonsus and the Glories of Mary, he says that Our Lady did die. And there's certainly doctors and fathers of the Church on this. There are some, this is where your unanimous consent is not.
It's not there, yes.
To answer earlier question. I don't think there's unanimous teaching of the fathers on this, but certainly great saints and doctors and fathers of the Church have held that she died. And I think that, to me, the most I can understand in all my reading, not to say I've done a complete research on this, is that she most likely died. And then several days later, she rose from the dead. Oh, it's an invitation of her son. And then upon rising from the dead, she was taken up into heaven.
So this is the great grace that Our Lady received is being assumed into heaven.
Yes.
And we have the feast day every year to mark that. In fact, that was, I just got back from Japan, and that was the day that St. Francis Xavier landed.
In Japan.
August 15th. And so it's the fourth glorious mystery, and it's well to meditate on this. And we'll bring this to a close, and we will talk to you next time. Thank you.